Our next inductee has never been one to sit back and watch life happen. He's also not one to keep quiet on a topic. If you're going to get involved, he says, you need to have an opinion. Charlie Revere, president of Revere Gas in Hartfield, Virginia, has certainly been involved in the propane industry, 50 plus years in fact. And those who know Charlie can tell you he's quite candid in sharing his opinions. Those qualities have landed him in multiple leadership positions over the years, at the state and the national levels. And he's known as the go-to guy for help in the propane industry with his approach to problem solving. That approach was put to use when, in 1997, he led some of the successful negotiations on excess flow protection regulations between MPGA and the DOT. As president of MPGA board in 1999, he pushed for more industry involvement, especially by the marketers. He also helped to advance the relationship between MPGA and PERC in the PERC's early years. Revere won the MPGA's Distinguished Service Award last year. Here to share his opinions, Charlie Revere.
I guess this is the time I'm going to start not embarrassing myself. That's been my goal for this evening. Brian and Brian, thank you. Thank your magazine and your staff. I came to know a young lady, Megan Wilkins, and she told me I had 45 minutes. Or was it 4 or 5 minutes? I think she said 4 or 5 minutes. This is quite an honor. Very much. Whenever you are recognized by your peers in something that's been your life's work, it's very humbling. And I do thank you. I have family here tonight, and I have 4 guys that I work with every day. And you know, I told them before we came in, I said, when I finish, you'll have an opportunity to say a few words. And it's amazing how fast the blood can run out of someone's face. But anyway, Jay Hilliard, Chris Waldrop, Eric Garrett, Freddie Beaton, thank you. You help us do it every day and be of service to our customers, and that's our #1 goal. Also have our sons Craig and Carlton. They're the reason that we still have Revere Gas, because they're the ones that are doing the work that makes it run. I also have my partner of, well, it's not quite 55 years, but 54 years. Sally Gale has been putting up with me for that long. I took her, or we got married, but we were still in colleges. And I took her in the Army. We moved to Fort Ord, California, the other side of the world from what we were used to. Then I brought her back to the country. She's a city girl. I brought her back to the country, and I carried her so far in the country. It's about as far as you can get in one day's drive. It's really, they kind of pipe air into us and things like that. But she, when I say partner, that's what she's been. My best friend, my partner. She worked in the business, lots of hours, ran the house, raised 3 boys. She has truly been a blessing, and I love her very much. Thank you, Sal. I'm also very grateful to the propane industry. It's been very kind to our families. It's given us an opportunity to live in the community I grew up in. It's provided an income and employment for 2 sons, and I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I'm truly blessed. They live about 2 miles from me. I can actually see my grandsons, 5 of them, every day. I don't, but I can. And that's great. I'm also grateful for our industry and the integrity and the morals of our industry. I think, really, I know there are a few exceptions to this, what I'm about to say, but most of the folks that are involved in our industry, they recognize that pretty early, and they compensate for those few. But it's probably the only industry that I'm aware of that you could probably continue without attorneys. The only attorneys we need is to protect us from the other guys. But it's truly an industry that I'm proud of for its integrity. You don't find that in other industries. The people I've known and been associated with our industry are outstanding. Many of them have become friends, lifelong friends, and I'm truly grateful for that benefit from being involved with the gas industry. I keep thinking about the people that I've known that have been mentors to me, that helped me along the way. Sometimes they gave me friendly advice, and sometimes they told me how crazy I was. But it was all helpful. I remember Milford Thurl about 7 o'clock because he knew I went to work early, and maybe once a week or so. And he'd say, "Hey, Charlie," I said, "how you doing this month?" "Fine." I said, "I want to run something by you." I'm thinking, Milford Thurl wants to run something by me? What's going on here? So I was pretty proud of that fact. And then one day I was talking to Glenn, and Glenn said, "Oh yeah," says, "Milford goes in real early in Dallas to get away from the traffic." So he's there having his coffee, and he calls people on the East Coast to kind of take up the time until his employees come to work. Really kind of, inflated my bubble. And then there was Bill McHenry, who, what a mentor, what a role model. I remember when we were having discussions with the DOT, there were words like will, shall, must, and we would get very upset with those people that they didn't understand. First of all, they didn't trust us or believe us. Once we got past that, we did much better. But Bill McHenry was the master of wordsmithing and getting his way very subtly and very calmly. And I always marveled at how he could do those things. And then there was Sam McTeer, who's here tonight, and he was introduced. I don't know whether any of you remember this far back, but we were talking about eliminating single-stage regulation and going to two-stage regulation. And Sam was a proponent of that. He was telling us why that was the thing we needed to do. And so I piped up. I said, "I think it's just a ploy by the manufacturers. They want to sell more regulators. And they want us to take out all these perfectly good regulators and add two-stage regulators." Sam stood up and he said, "Young man," this was a while ago, said, "I'd like to talk to you after this meeting." So I received a 2-hour, literally, lecture on two-stage regulation. By the time we left there, I knew vent capacities, I knew any and everything you wanted to know about two-stage regulation. And yes, Sam, you were right. I became a proponent of that. I've got to make can't let this meeting go by without making a little commercial for NPGA. NPGA, in my opinion, some of you probably heard me say this, is the only advocate of the propane marketer. It is our advocate against regulation and legislation. It is our only advocate. I mean, a lot of you in this room represent industries, or you belong to NPGA. If you're a transporter or a manufacturer or whatever, you distributor, you have an organization for your group that represents you. But the propane marketer has only one advocate. It's NPGA. So I encourage you to spread that word. I won't stop. So that's, speaking of NPGA, when I had the pleasure of serving as president of NPGA, 99-2000, going for damage control, he said, "Yeah." And that's the truth. Where is Dan? Thank you, Dan. Excuse me, I have consumption or something that I've just caught. I don't know how many of you in this room are old enough to remember King of the Hill, and everybody remember King of the Hill? Well, you know, Hill's bunkie buddy